Recording started.
Cool. Thank you very much. Okay, I'd like to call to order the City of Sumner City Council meeting. The date is the 21st of June and the time is 6 p.m. As a reminder, City Hall remains closed during Governor Inslee's Healthy Washington Recovery Roadmap order, consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the public has been invited to attend the meeting virtually by using the Zoom meeting access information that's on the council agenda and on the city website. We were going to have an invocation, but I don't believe Kurt is here. I'll take one last look at attendees. Do not see him. So we will skip the invocation and we'll go to roll call. Go ahead, Michelle.
Potato,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Hayden,
Here.
Hamilton,
Here.
Hochstetter,
Absent.
Newman,
Here.
Reed.
Present.
Okay, for everybody's information, Councilmember Hochstetter informed me that she would be unable to attend tonight's meeting. So I would entertain a motion to excuse Councilmember Hochstetter from tonight's meeting.
I move
Go
we
ahead.
excuse Councilmember Hochstetter from tonight's meeting.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And thank you, Councilmember Potato. All those in favor of excusing Councilmember Hochstetter from tonight's meeting, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and Councilmember Hochstetter is excused. We'll move on to the consent agenda. And before we have a motion, Michelle, could you please read the consent agenda?
Consent agenda consisting of electronic payments and checks in the amount of, I'm sorry, Mr. Pugh, but my information does not have that amount.
Okay, it's $3,116,482.63.
Thank you very much. I apologize for that. Item number 2, resolution number 1586, DUI traffic and safety task force interlocal agreement. Item number 3, approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting of June 7th, 2021 and June 14th, 2021 study session.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Are there any items on the consent agenda that any council member would like to have removed for separate consideration? Okay, seeing none wants to be removed. Deputy Mayor Hayden, could I have a motion, please?
I move we adopt the consent agenda as written
Could I get a
or
second?
read.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Hamilton. All those in favor of adopting the consent agenda as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, the consent agenda is adopted. Move on to public hearings. There are no public hearings tonight. So we'll move on to regular business, and under unfinished business, we have ordinance number 2782, and I would call on Deputy Mayor Hayden for a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2782, approving a development agreement between the city of Sumner and the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District and authorizing the mayor to execute the same in a form as approved by the city attorney.
Okay, could I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Councilmember Mead. Thank you. Councilmember Reed, sorry about that, Patrick. I would call on City Attorney Andrea Marquez.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Before you tonight is Ordinance 2782. This is a development agreement between the City of Sumner and the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District related to their Sumner High School expansion and modernization project. As a reminder, this development agreement was before the city's hearing examiner on April 29th. On May 13th, he issued his recommendation that the city council approve. the development agreement as presented. The city held a public hearing on June 7th, and previous to that had discussions about this development agreement at a study session in May. Here is a brief summary of the proposed terms. The modernization project is a phased project that will be publicly funded. So certainty as to the rules and regulations and costs that will apply is important. That is the basis of the request for this development agreement by the school district. The term of the proposed agreement is for 10 years. A development agreement vests the project to the current code for that period of time, except for the project is vested to the current fee schedule for impact fees for a period of 5 years. Through the development agreement, the district is requesting an exception to the height restrictions in the code for the PAC building that is in the center of the proposed design. The height would be up to 60 feet. Again, is centrally located, and the city believes that the district has appropriately addressed and resolved any impacts through the design process. The height exception, as a reminder, requires a supermajority approval by the city council. Through the development agreement, the city and the district acknowledge that multiple old right-of-ways will need to be cleaned up and or vacated, and those will be forthcoming and will be before council for separate approval. I am happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to clarify for folks that are watching, what this does is based on the anticipated plans, this provides stability in the funding and planning process for a specific amount of time as they're building things, so they're not hit with surprise increases, correct?
That is a very nice way to sum up the purpose of a development agreement, particularly on this project where it's anticipated to be 2 separate and distinct phases. That certainty through the design and planning process is very important.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that that was spelled out again for the folks in the public that might be listening and having no clue what they're hearing.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions by council members? Any other comments or questions by council members? Okay, seeing none, and as the city attorney mentioned, we've already had a public hearing on this, so we will not be taking public comment tonight. And with that, I would ask Michelle to please call the roll.
Brown,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Okay, vote 6-0. Ordinance number 2782 is adopted. Now move on to public comment. And before we ask if there's anybody, and I think Jason, you already mentioned to me that we have one person that would like to address the council, but the public was also encouraged to submit comments to the city clerk by email before tonight's meeting. Michelle, did you receive any comments that need to be read into the record?
No, Mayor Pugh, I did not.
Okay. If that's the case, we will call on the person that want to address the council. But before that, Michelle, would you please go through the guidelines and rules regarding public comment?
Now's the time for the public to comment on matters that are not on the agenda. If you are attending the meeting via Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature under participants tab in the bottom right. Or if you are participating telephonically, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. Please wait to be called on by the mayor before you unmute your computer, audio, or telephone. You will have 3 minutes. Please begin your comments by stating your name and address for the record. As a reminder, this portion of the meeting is the council's opportunity to hear from the community and not a time to engage in debate.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And I think is it Thu Ament?
Mayor, if we could start with Dr. Dent, she'll introduce Thu.
Oh, okay. I didn't see Dr. Dent there. Sorry, Dr. Dent. Go for it.
Good evening, Mayor Pugh and Deputy Mayor Hayden. My name is Lori Dent, Superintendent for the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District. Always a pleasure to see you and members of the council. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce to you our new Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Tu Ament. He's coming to us from the Tacoma School District, but it was important for me to introduce him to you because you are one of our great partners and you will see him at many of our events. And I wanted to make sure that you had a chance to meet him in as much in person as possible right now, so you could put a face with a name. But we are very excited to have him join our team. He is a Cougar, I will tell you that. He graduated, he has his doctorate from WSU, and we still hired him. So that's how impressive he is. He is just a champion for kids. He's got a background that is stellar, incredible credentials, and just he's been a high school principal, a teacher, a coach, and is going to be just a wonderful addition to our team. So I wanted to take an opportunity to introduce you to him. Again, Dr. Tu Ament, our new Deputy Superintendent. He's already started. So he's already like rolled up his sleeves, dug in, got that servant heart that we love in Sumner. And again, just wanted to welcome him and introduce him to you. So thank you for giving me this time.
Thank you very much, Lori. Appreciate it. Too, welcome to East Pierce County and specifically the city of Sumner. Both of us have Tacoma in our past, both you and I. So welcome to a great part of the world. And go ahead, why don't you speak whatever's on your mind. Tell us about yourself.
All right. Well, thank you, Mayor Pugh and Dr. Dent for the kind words. Council members, I just want to say that I'm super excited about being here. We've, like Dr. Dent said, I've been working for a couple months already. 2 jobs at once, transitioning out of Tacoma and then also hitting the ground running in Sumner Bonnie Lake. And it's been a great experience. And I just want to say thank you. And I'm excited to continue the work. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you for, for joining us. Any other council comments and stuff? Take your shots now. You're still in the honeymoon phase here. So, you can. Boy.
I would say a couple of things that I got my doctorate at WSU. I did go to University of Washington, got a project management certificate there, and then also Central Washington. So there's a big Washington theme. So.
Well, you've been trying to cover your bases, obviously. Yeah. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, just a quick welcome aboard. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it's nice when we have, go ahead, Councilmember Botetto.
Yeah, I want to welcome you too. And, this is a great school district. Dr. Dent, I was curious, how is the graduation rate going? Is it going up like you wanted?
Barb, it's always going to go up.
Yeah, for sure.
Graduation last week was fantastic. Deputy Mayor Hayden was there and we had it at Cheney Stadium. Dr. Ament was also there, but we passed out right at, if not over 800 diplomas. So we should have our graduation rate pretty soon, but the in-person graduation just meant the world to our kids and families. Beautiful weather. It was a great venue and all of the kids were on the Jumbotron for the first time ever. Yeah. So they had a blast.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's great to hear. And then welcome, Dr. Ament.
Thank you.
So you're telling me that Deputy Mayor Hayden finally graduated? She said she was there?
Well, I'm just wondering what's going to go up in front of her house now. What's the next sign?
Well, I could tell you it's not appropriate for this meeting.
I have some signs
that
are ready to go, but the graduation was awesome. My other grandson, who would have walked across the stage last year, was a little sad. That was the sad part, but it was a beautiful night and it was a great graduation. So thank you.
Seems like all you've been doing. Oh, go ahead, Councilmember Newman.
I was just gonna say, welcome, Dr. Ament. The school district in Tacoma has had amazing turnaround and improvements. So I feel like we are lucky to have your experience and background. So thank you and welcome to Sumner.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Okay, any other comments? Well, thank both of you for coming tonight. And again, welcome, Dr. Ament. Look forward to seeing you in person rather than these damn laptop screen. And look forward to great things. So thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, we'll move on. Looking at this screen in terms of participants, I will ask if there's anybody that is participating in the meeting tonight as an attendee that'd like to address the council on anything that isn't on the agenda. Okay, seeing none, we will close public comment and we'll move on to new business. The first thing in new business is 166th widening. And I would call on Councilmember Newman for a motion.
Oh, you have one. Yes, I would like to move that the city council accept $1,219,650 in grant funds from the Federal Highway Administration for use on the 166 widening and intersection improvement project. And that we also authorize our mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to accept the funds substantially in a form approved by the city attorney.
That was a long motion. Thank you very much. Okay, good. I get a second to that
I'll
motion.
second.
Seconded by Councilmember Reed. I'll call on City Engineer Michael Kosa. Mr. Kosa.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Michael Kosa. I'm the city engineer and I'm also the project manager for this project. The 166th Avenue East project which is Sumner Taps Highway at the SR 410 westbound off ramp experiences severe traffic congestion at the interchange and the intersection to the north, which is at 64th Street East. Additionally, an undersized and failing corrugated metal pipe culvert that carries Salmon Creek runs diagonally underneath the intersection at 64th, creating an unsuitable environment for ESA-listed salmon species to thrive and spawn. This project was submitted for federal funding through the Federal Highway Administration Surface Transportation Program. Funds became available to this project earlier this year. The project was awarded $1,219,650, which is available to begin spending in 2021, probably in the next 2 months or so. These funds will enable the city to complete the project design for the project while significantly reducing the need to spend local funds committed in the current city budget. The city needs to provide a 13.5% local match for the federal funds, which is within the current budget. We had originally budgeted for the entirety of design to come out of city funds, city transportation impact fees. So the funding here will offset the funds that we had originally committed there and freeze it up, and we'll be able to use those funds for other transportation purposes. The project and associated federal funding has been programmed into the State Transportation Improvement Program, which is the program document that's attached. So we recommend you accept the grant funds, and I'm happy to answer any questions or concerns you may have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kosa. Any questions or comments from the City Council? Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Kosa, this is a very welcome step towards finding solutions for that intersection. But to be clear, this is just a tiny step of the larger project that needs to take place. So it's moving in the right direction due to the staff's dedicated work on funding, but we are still a ways out from actually starting work on the improvements. Is that correct?
Yes, the first step in completing a project is really to get the design phase going. Right now, we are we have done some preliminary design on the project and have some of our initial WashDOT approvals for what the layout and channelization would look like. So with lane configurations, that sort of thing. And the city decided to move forward on that in the last biennium, and decided to move forward on final design this biennium. But these funds will really support that design effort that's currently underway. And so we're really excited for this funding, and it will really take us all the way to the point where we'll still need to acquire some right of way in order to complete the project. But then once we have the right of way in place, as well as the design, we would be able to start looking at construction. So in the future, we'll be looking at construction funding for our next grant applications.
I have one more question. When would the preliminary design, or when or where would the preliminary design be visible to the public?
So right now, the preliminary design layout is available on our website at Sumner Connects. It has its own project page for the 166 widening. So thanks for that plug. But yeah, anybody who wants to go there can see that preliminary layout, which has been approved through WashDOT and continues to gain those approvals. So that's all available online, and anybody's happy to contact us or contact me for more information.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate staff's continuous work to try and generate funds for that project. And hopefully I just wanted to really make sure that there's a realistic expectation for the public that yes, it's being worked on, but no, it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of potential environmental impacts, a number of environmental impacts that will likely slow the project down. There's significant regulations and processes that we'll have to go through to account for wetlands and some environmental cleanup, as well as ensuring our work on the culvert that I mentioned doesn't impact fish in an adverse way.
Great. Thank you very much.
And I might also add in, Patrick, that, you know, it depends on what happens if there's a special session involving, you know, transportation, or where they kick that off to the next one. But it's a tough one right now. It's a tough one right now. If you know, everything you hear is that money's going to be tough to come by. So, but staff, they keep on plugging away, you know, one more bite of the elephant, and after a while it'll be gone. So it's great work. Councilmember Boteto.
I was wondering, you know, if everything goes as planned or hoped with funding, how long would it take to get the project completed? Five years?
That's a very complicated question, I'll say. I know we do have.
You could say you just don't know, but I mean, you give a range here, Mr. Kosa.
Oh, sure. We're not talking months. We are talking years, unfortunately. The environmental issues I mentioned can really add time to the process, especially the potential impact to fish, salmon that are ESA listed species. So that alone could take a couple years to get through after we've even produced the reports. So we're talking 2 to 3 years there. There is likely a need for some access, limited access adjustments by the state. That is typically at least a year-long process. We're going to try to run things concurrently. But with so many questions out there, it's I don't want to give you a significantly wrong answer, but we're looking at 3 to 4 years, I think, before we can realistically say we've got a reasonable chance of being at a time for construction.
At least you have, it's not 10 years. So, and you were very successful with the interchange over here at traffic. So I think that I'm sure you'll get it done as quick as you can. So thank you.
They're pedaling as fast as they can. Okay, any other questions or comments by council members? Okay, seeing none, is anybody that is attending the meeting that would like to address the council on this particular issue? Seeing none, Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
The item is passed unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll move on to ordinance number 2784, and I would call on Councilmember Reed for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move we adopt ordinance 2784, amending section 2.100.500 of the Sumner Municipal Code regarding retirement benefits.
Thank you very much. Could I get a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Newman. Thank you very much. I'd call on Administrative Services Director Jeff Steffens. Mr. Steffens.
Good evening. Ordinance 2784 will amend the Sumner Municipal Code regarding employer retirement contributions. In some circumstances, an employee may not be eligible for Washington State's public employment retirement system. This code change will allow the city to make a retirement contribution of no more than 8% of base salary to another pre-taxed benefit account. This change will help the city to recruit and attract additional qualified applicants coming from different state retirement systems. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steffens. Any questions or comments by council members? Questions or comments by council members? Okay, seeing none, anybody that is attending the meeting would like to address the council on this issue? Seeing none, Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Potato,
Potato, yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance number 2784 is adopted. Move on to ordinance number 2783. And again, I would call on Deputy Mayor Hayden.
I'd like to move to approve ordinance number 2783, amending the 2021 compensation schedule for Police Guild special commissioned and non-commissioned employees.
Thank you. Could I get a second to that motion, please?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Reed. Again, I'd call on Administrative Services Director Jeff Steffens.
Thank you. At the June 7th council meeting, the council approved the 2021-22 collective bargaining agreement with the Police Guild representing special commissioned and non-commissioned employees. This ordinance amends the 2021 compensation schedule to include changes authorized in that approved CBA. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments, council members, for Mr. Steffens? Questions or comments? Seeing none, anybody that's attending the meeting would like to address the council on this particular issue? Seeing none, Michelle, would you please call the roll?
Newman,
Yes.
Potato,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance number 2783 is adopted unanimously. Okay, we move on to reports by City Council. Councilmember Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say, everybody, it's going to be a warm week and an even warmer weekend. Try and do your best to stay cool and stay safe. And remember the pets and the sidewalks. The sidewalks are very hot. It doesn't take, I'm looking at a chart now that says 87-degree air temperature is 143-degree asphalt temperature. And that will burn your pet's pads. So keep that in mind when you're out and about.
And also burn your own pads if you're walking out on them. Okay, Councilmember Newman.
Happy Father's Day to all of the great dads on council and mayor, and all of the great dads in the city of Sumner. Thank you for doing what you do. And also, I want to say thank you to Public Works Committee for, I think, government, like it's all like government is supposed to be there for the simple things and the small things. And I have been thanked a couple of times for the water fountains being turned on at the parks. And I don't take credit for it whatsoever. Pass it on, like staff gets all the credit. And so thank you. You don't hear it, but people notice.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Newman. Deputy Mayor.
Well, you heard about the graduation, which was what I was going to talk about. It was awesome. And I have ran out of grandkids to graduate. So I am officially done with graduations until something else pops up. So it was awesome. It was a beautiful night and they did a great job.
Good, thank you very much. Councilmember Hamilton.
Kathy, we've got plenty of Hamiltons going through the school. So if you need extras, you know, you can always support. My son will be starting high school next year and daughter's in middle school, and my brother and his wife and 3 kids just moved back to Sumner from Portland. So there's going to be more Hamiltons in the school district, and you know, they're staying with us for a month until their house is ready. But it's pretty wild here. But it just kind of goes to show that, you know, it is a great place still to raise a family, and nice to have them back.
That sounds, I counted 5. I counted 5 there, so.
Plus a dog and a cat.
Well, there you go. You're all set up, Deputy Mayor. And I'm sure we can get more people to volunteer or volunteer you.
I'll pass on that. I'll pass on that one. Thank you, though.
Okay. Councilmember Brown.
Nothing, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Last but certainly not least, Councilmember Potato.
So I just want to emphasize that water safety is a big thing. You know, this weekend, there's been, I think, 5 or 6 people that have drowned in the area. So if you do go up to the lake, remember that the water temperature is in the 50s and not very, you know, your body can't really stand it very well. So just be careful, wear life vests. And then the Y does have their water safety classes and swim classes. So sign up and get, you know, ready for the summer. But I think that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Potato. Move on to City Administrator Report. Mr. Wilson, welcome back.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Coming up next week at the study session, the police chief will be providing a legislative update regarding police reform. As you know, there were several bills that passed the state legislature regarding police reform, and he'll be providing a comprehensive review of those and what impacts they have on our police department. After that, he'll be giving an updated presentation on our police body-worn camera implementation process, just to keep you in the loop on where we're at with that, with the intent to still go live with body-worn cameras by the end of the year. The next regular council meeting was scheduled for July 7th, but due to the 4th of July holiday and lack of agenda items, we went ahead and canceled that. So enjoy the week off. And then the next regular study session is on July 12th, where the library will be here to provide an update, as well as the community food bank. And then we'll be having a short discussion regarding City Hall reopening post-pandemic. As far as commission updates go, the Cultural Arts Commission is excited. They've selected 3 artists to create new murals across the city over the summer. And I'll be sharing my screen here. So they have 3 murals. The first one will be on the west side of Sugar Babies facing the railroad tracks. And the second one is on the west side of the church, also the Dixie's building facing the food bank. That's this Cultivate Community one. And the third one is actually a partnership with Sumner Rotary. And I apologize, the resolution isn't great, but there's a black and white sketch of it as well. This is actually on Scout Hall facing Loyalty Park. So we're finalizing the contracts with those artists and property owners, and you'll see those here in the next couple months. We also are going to be working with the Arts Commission to do a an additional call for artists for a fourth mural on the public restroom downtown located at Ryan and Main. So exciting things happening with the Cultural Arts Commission. Also, with that commission, they will be holding the Chalk Art Festival this year on July 30th. This will be a hybrid event this year featuring a virtual and live component, and additional info will be on our website here in the next week or so. The Planning Commission, they've been busy reviewing the Housing Action Plan, and they'll be meeting on July 8th to develop a recommendation on the priority list that Council will be considering in later July. Personnel issues, we are now fully staffed at the wastewater treatment facility. That's quite a milestone for us with the number of retirements out of the facility. We hired a lab analyst that actually came from Arizona. So we talk about reaching outside of our normal geographic circle. This is a good example. We're also doing that with a police candidate from Florida currently. Speaking of police, interviews for deputy police chief were held, and the top candidate is currently going through the background process. We do have a goal of making a formal job offer by mid-July. And then I wanted to share with you that City Hall will reopen to the public on July 6th. Initially, in-person service will be limited to Monday through Thursday from 10 to 3, and remote service will continue to be offered from 7:30 in the morning till 5:30 p.m., Monday through Thursday, and Fridays 7:30 until noon. There's still several unknowns and challenges with resuming in-person council meetings. However, we do hope to return to at least a hybrid format later this summer, and more information should be known and will be discussed at the July 12th study session. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Wow, a lot of information there. Any questions council members have for Jason? Okay, you're off the hook, sir. Cool. Tis the season for retirements and personnel changes. You know, Jason talked about our staffing, but the school district, you met the new assistant this coming Tuesday. I have Tim Thompson and Bill Gaines, their retirement function. I was blessed to go up and wish Bud Backer well on his retirement. And I would like to see if I can bring it up here. One of the things I get to do sometimes is just make up proclamations because the mayor can do that. And so I didn't make this up. I had the help of gifted staff, namely Carmen. But I'd like to read it because it's cute and it's very appropriate for Bud Backer. It was a proclamation honoring Chief Bud Backer. Whereas the city of Sumner enjoys a glowing relationship with our partners at East Pierce Fire and Rescue, whereas Chief Bud Backer really fanned the flames of leadership when he came here, and whereas he quickly responded, not only his job, but also becoming part of the community, building daffodil floats, golfing for life with the city, and doing countless other things for Sumner Rotary, and whereas he managed to get an urban wildfire named after us, along with national media coverage. And whereas it isn't a stretcher of the truth to say that we're really going to miss him until we see him again, whereas his wicked sense of humor was an engine for building community and partnership, now therefore be it proclaimed that the city of Sumner hereby honors Chief Bud Backer on his retirement and wishes him all the best for the future. Bad fire puns aside, when you look up the words for fire in the thesaurus, the synonyms that come up are passion, ardor, fervor, excitement, and enthusiasm. All those describe Bud's career and dedication to his profession and the Sumner community. truly is an outstanding, fire chief. Chief Parkinson coming in is going to be great too. But it was sad to see him go. You're sad, but also happy, because now he's able to do some things, with his wife and family and have that flexibility. So anyway, that's my thing. That was my happy moment for the week and happy moment for last week, and wanted to share it with you. I don't have anything else. We do not have an executive session tonight. And seeing that there is no more business before the Sumner City Council, this meeting is adjourned at 6:40. Stay cool, everyone.
Be ready for the 100-degree Saturday.
Yeah.